My name is Arjun Mehra, and at 28, I was the golden boy of India's tech world. Horizon Tech, my brainchild, was a multi-billion-dollar empire, and I was its CEO. My face graced every major magazine, my name synonymous with innovation. But today, I stood in my own boardroom, stripped of everything. The board, led by my mentor-turned-traitor Vikram Seth, fired me. Their reason? My sister, Priya, a junior coder they accused of leaking sensitive data to a rival. I knew it was a lie. Priya was brilliant, hired to keep her close after our parents' death 5 years ago. Vikram's smug grin as security escorted me out burned into my soul. They thought they'd won, but they didn't know my secret. I owned 51% of Horizon Tech through a hidden shell company. Every patent, every desk, every deal, they were mine. This wasn't the end, it was the start of my revenge. That night, I sat in my cramped apartment, Priya sobbing across from me. Arjun, I didn't leak anything, she said, her voice breaking. I believed her. Priya was meticulous, her code flawless. Vikram had framed her to oust me, jealous of my success since I'd surpassed him. I'd built Horizon from a garage startup, coding through sleepless nights, while Vikram, a venture capitalist, had joined later, always craving control. Now, he'd orchestrated this coup, convincing the board I was unfit to lead. I opened my laptop, accessing the shell company's accounts. Everything was intact, 51% of Horizon's shares, hidden under layers of legal paperwork. Vikram thought he'd stolen my empire, but he was playing on my turf. I dug into his emails using a backdoor I'd coded into Horizon's servers years ago. What I found confirmed my suspicions. Vikram had been selling trade secrets to Nexus Corp, our biggest rival, for months. Emails detailed payments, stolen algorithms, and plans to pin it on Priya. My blood boiled, but anger wouldn't win this. I needed a plan, calculated, ruthless, and public. Priya wiped her tears, her coder's mind kicking in. We can expose him, she said. But we need proof. She was right. Vikram was cunning, with lawyers and allies shielding him. A direct attack would fail. Instead, I decided to dismantle his world piece by piece, starting with his reputation. I contacted Jonah, a coder friend of Priya's, who'd left Horizon after Vikram sidelined him. Jonah was loyal and hated Vikram. He agreed to help us hack Vikram's private chats with Nexus's CEO, Riya Malhotra. By dawn, we had a goldmine, timestamps, dollar amounts, and stolen code snippets. Our plan took shape. We'd expose Vikram at Horizon's annual gala, a glitzy event attended by investors, clients, and media. It was the perfect stage. Priya suggested a fake data breach to spook Vikram, coded to display his real emails on every screen at the gala. If he panicked, we'd catch it on camera. I reached out to Maya, a loyal marketing manager who'd been demoted by Vikram's cronies. She was furious about my firing and eager to join us. Maya would get us into the gala with fake staff badges. This was war, and I was ready to fight. The gala was 10 days away, and we had work to do. Priya and I holed up in my apartment, turning it into a war room. Laptops hummed, coffee cups piled up, and whiteboards were scribbled with plans. Priya's virus was a masterpiece, subtle enough to seem like a real breach but loud enough to cause chaos. It would hijack the gala's AV system, flashing Vikram's emails for all to see. Jonah, working remotely, pulled more evidence from Vikram's chats. We found a memo where he bragged about framing Priya, calling her collateral damage. My fists clenched, but Priya stayed calm, her focus razor-sharp. Maya was our eyes inside Horizon. She fed us internal documents showing the board knew Priya was innocent. They'd planned my ouster for months, with Vikram promising them bigger profits under his leadership. Maya also smuggled us blueprints of the gala venue, a 5-star hotel ballroom with tight security. We needed to blend in. Maya got us fake badges, I'd pose as a waiter, Priya as tech support. I also contacted Rohan, a journalist who'd been burned by Vikram years ago. Rohan had written a scathing piece on Vikram's shady deals, only to be sued into silence. He jumped at the chance to expose him, promising to publish our evidence if we got video proof of Vikram's reaction. Samir, a former Horizon security guard I'd helped during tough times, agreed to smuggle a hidden camera into the gala. His loyalty was unwavering, and I trusted him to capture every moment. To weaken Vikram before the gala, I used my shell company's access to manipulate Horizon's finances. I transferred small sums from Vikram's offshore accounts back to Horizon's books, making it look like he was careless. The board noticed discrepancies, and Vikram was already sweating, fielding angry calls from investors. Priya and I practiced our roles daily, memorizing the venue's layout and security protocols. We couldn't afford mistakes. The night before the gala, I found Priya staring at a photo of our parents. "They'd be proud of you," I said. She nodded, her resolve hardening. "This is for them, Arjun. And for us." I felt a surge of pride. Vikram had underestimated us, but he'd learn the hard way. The gala night arrived, a glittering spectacle at Mumbai's Grand Meridian Hotel. The ballroom was a sea of tuxedos, gowns, and champagne flutes, with Horizon's logo glowing on massive screens. Priya and I slipped in through the staff entrance, my waiter's uniform itchy but convincing. Priya, in a tech support jumpsuit, carried a tablet loaded with her virus. Samir was already inside, his hidden camera clipped to his jacket. Maya mingled with guests, feeding us updates via earpieces. My heart raced as I poured drinks, keeping Vikram in my peripheral vision. He was at the head table, laughing with investors, oblivious to the storm coming. Priya, in the tech booth, tested the virus's connection to the AV system. "Ready," she whispered through the earpiece. I nodded, serving a tray of canapés while scanning for security. At 9 p.m., Vikram took the stage, his speech dripping with fake humility. "Horizon is stronger than ever," he boasted. That's when Priya hit the trigger. The screens flickered, then exploded with his emails to Nexus Corporation dates, payments, stolen code, every dirty detail was there. The room gasped. Vikram froze, his face ashen. He stammered, "This is a hack." A setup, but the crowd's murmurs grew hostile. Samir's camera caught Vikram storming off stage, cornering his assistant. "Ria betrayed me," he hissed, unaware he was being recorded. Maya slipped the footage to Rohan, who was in the crowd, posing as a guest. By 10 p.m., the story was live on Rohan's news site, going viral. Investors pulled out, clients demanded answers, and Vikram's empire began to crack. Priya and I slipped out before security tightened. In the parking lot, she hugged me, her eyes shining. We did it. But I wasn't done. The gala was just the spark. I'd burned Vikram's world to the ground. By morning, Horizon stock plummeted 30%. Social media was ablaze with #Horizon scandal, and Vikram's name was mud. Rohan's article, backed by our evidence, detailed his Nexus deal, with screenshots of his chats. Investors called emergency meetings, and clients cancelled contracts. Vikram tried to spin it, claiming he was framed, but the footage of his gala meltdown was damning. I watched it all from my apartment, Priya by my side. We'd shaken the foundation, but Vikram was still CEO, and the board was loyal to him. I needed to reveal my ownership, but timing was everything. If I showed my hand too soon, Vikram's lawyers would bury me in lawsuits. Instead, I let the chaos grow. Maya reported panic in Horizon's offices. Employees whispered about layoffs, and the board was fracturing. I used my shell company to leak more financial discrepancies, pointing to Vikram's offshore accounts. The board called him in, demanding answers. He was unraveling, and I loved every second of it. Priya, meanwhile, worked on a new software patch to secure Horizon's systems, proving her innocence. She sent it anonymously to the tech team, who implemented it without knowing its source. Clients praised the fix, unaware it was Priya's work. It was a small victory, but it rebuilt her confidence. That night, police arrested Vikram at the airport, trying to flee to Dubai. Rohan's tip, backed by our evidence, had sealed his fate. Fraud, theft, and conspiracy charges piled up. Priya and I celebrated quietly, but the real showdown was coming. I was ready to reclaim my company. The board called an emergency meeting at Horizon's headquarters, desperate to save the company. I walked in unannounced, flanked by 2 lawyers and a stack of documents. The room fell silent as I dropped the shell company papers on the table. "I'm Arjun Mehra, and I own 51% of Horizon Tech," I said. Jaws dropped. Vikram's allies sputtered, but the paperwork was ironclad, verified by my lawyers. I fired the entire board on the spot, naming Maya interim CEO and reinstating Priya as lead coder. The media went wild, headlines screamed "Founder's Revenge" and "Secret Owner Strikes Back." Investors who'd pulled out begged to return, but I was selective, choosing only those who aligned with my vision. Priya's first act was to open source her security patch, earning global praise. Horizon stock stabilized, and clients returned, impressed by our transparency. Vikram's cronies scrambled to save face, but they were out, their reputations ruined. I addressed the employees, promising no layoffs and a new era of trust. "Horizon is ours again," I said, Priya beside me. The applause was deafening. We'd won, but the real work was just beginning. Horizon was ours, but trust was shattered. Employees feared instability, and clients were wary. Priya and I held town halls, sharing the shell company story, not to boast, but to show we'd fought for Horizon's soul. We promoted Maya permanently as CEO, her loyalty and competence undeniable. Samir became head of security, and Jonah joined as a senior developer. We launched Horizon Reborn, a campaign highlighting Priya's software and our commitment to ethics. I used my shell company's funds to stabilize finances, avoiding layoffs. Slowly, employees rallied, and clients signed long-term deals. Priya's Academy idea took root, a free coding program for underprivileged kids, named after our parents. It became Horizon's flagship CSR initiative, drawing global attention. Vikram's trial loomed, and we prepared to testify. His betrayal had scarred us, but it also forged our strength. Horizon wasn't just a company, it was a family, and we'd protect it at all costs. Priya carried the weight of the leak lie, even though it wasn't her fault. She threw herself into the coding academy, mentoring kids with a passion that inspired everyone. The first class graduated a year later, and Priya's speech, about rising above mistakes, went viral. "You're not defined by what others say," she told them. "You're defined by what you create." Her confidence returned, and so did Horizon's reputation. The academy trained thousands, and Priya became a role model, especially for young women in tech. Clients praised her software, and investors saw her as Horizon's future. I watched her shine, proud of the sister I'd fought for. We also rebuilt Horizon's culture, with Maya enforcing strict ethics policies. No one would manipulate us again. The Academy's success drew partnerships with global tech giants, cementing Horizon's comeback. Priya wasn't just my sister, she was a force. Vikram's trial was a media frenzy. Our evidence, emails, chats, and gala footage, left no defense. He pleaded guilty to fraud, theft, and conspiracy, facing years in prison. Nexus Corp collapsed, their CEO indicted too. I attended the trial's final day, not for revenge, but closure. Vikram avoided my gaze, a broken man. The media hailed Priya and me as heroes, but we stayed humble. Horizon stock soared, and our AI platform, coded by Priya, set industry standards. We'd turned betrayal into triumph, proving loyalty and grit could outshine greed. Priya and I visited our parents' graves, laying flowers. "We kept our promise," she said. I nodded, feeling their presence. Horizon was more than a company, it was our legacy, built on trust and resilience. 2 years later, Horizon was a global leader. Priya's AI platform revolutionized data security, earning awards and partnerships. The Coding Academy expanded, training kids across India and beyond. Maya's leadership kept Horizon innovative yet grounded, while I guided strategy as chairman, my shell company now public knowledge. We faced challenges, competitors tried to copy us, and economic shifts tested our resilience. But our team, forged in betrayal, was unbreakable. Priya mentored the next generation, and I focused on sustainable growth. Horizon wasn't just about profit, it was about impact. Employees thrived, and clients trusted us implicitly. The media called us the comeback kings, but to me, it was about family: Priya, Maya, Samir, Jonah, and every employee who believed in us. We'd built something bigger than Vikram's greed could ever touch. 5 years after the gala, Horizon Tech was a household name. Priya's academy had trained over 10,000 kids, many now working at top firms. Our AI platform powered global industries, and our ethics policy set a gold standard. I married Maya, and Priya became godmother to our daughter, named after our mother. The shell company, once a secret weapon, was now a symbol of resilience. We shared its story in keynotes, inspiring entrepreneurs worldwide. Vikram's betrayal was a distant memory, but it fueled our drive. Horizon stood for trust, innovation, and family, values no one could break. As I watched Priya teach a coding class, her eyes alight with passion, I knew we'd done more than win. We'd created a legacy that would outlive us, built on the ashes of betrayal and the strength of our bond.